Howdy folks, Monty here, and in this hopefully short video, I want to talk a little bit about Blood Deathknights. Blood Deathknights mechanically are in kind of a rough spot right now. If you haven't seen the tank survivability graph that's been shared around Reddit without context, it does put Blood Deathknights in a rough spot. Part of this is due just to the poor perception that people have and the lack of context for that graph. Part of this is due for the fact that Warriors Ignore Pain is a little OP right now, and Blizzard is taking steps to nerf that. Sorry, Warriors. But the biggest thing is that Blood Deathknights are in a rough spot, and other tank classes are having some issues now. This is just about Blood Deathknights because that's what I mean. I could talk about the lack of mobility. Mobility is a problem. I could talk about the lack of a damage reduction cooldown at baseline, which can cause big problems on fights like Cenarius. But what I really want to talk about is Bone Shield, because Bone Shield is in a rough spot right now. Of course, Bone Shield mechanically is completely changed. Now it applies on every application of Marrow Rend, and it's going to stack up. 5 or more stacks are going to give us even more benefit, and it'll stack up to 10 times each time we take damage. A stack will be taken away depending on your talents and your artifact abilities. 2 stacks may be taken away. The problem here is that these stacks are taken away by incidental AoE. These stacks are taken away per tick from a dot. So if you get a dot on you and the boss is doing AoE and the boss is directly attacking you, that is just a ton of stacks falling off that you're going to be struggling to keep up, and you're not going to be able to keep up. And it's going to make your survivability very, very low compared to warriors, compared to paladins, compared to druids. So what can be done about this? Well, the biggest issue is the dot issue, I think, and this really comes into focus in Mythic Plus with the necrotic affix. With the necrotic affix, enemy melee attacks apply a stacking debuff that's going to deal damage over time and is going to reduce the amount of healing received. The Mortal Strike effect that reduces healing is bad enough for Deathknights, since so much of our sustainability is going to come from our self-heals and thus our blood shield, excuse me. The bigger issue here, though, is the dot. Bone Shield is going to be taken down by this dot. Your stacks are going to be constantly going down, and if you've got 2 or 3 enemies that are going to be whacking on you at the same time, you're going to be losing Bone Shield stacks faster than you can generate them, and it becomes a big issue. So what can you do about this? Well, some players are saying, let's make it to where only the first tick of the dot is going to take away a charge of Bone Shield, and then from there it won't anymore. My suggestion is put an internal cooldown on it to where it's not going to go immediately. I've also heard the suggestion, well, after the first charge is depleted, have it just be a small percentage damage reduction over the course of the dot without having to absorb any more charges. I don't know. The biggest point here is that Blizzard needs to know that this is an issue. Blizzard needs to understand that this is what Deathknights want to see changed, and this needs to be brought up in a constructive way. So avoid the vitriol of the internet and get out there and give Blizzard some constructive, positive feedback saying, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we need to be, how do we get there? To where we can get those changes, put in a patch 7.1, if not sooner. Hopefully we can get it in a hotfix, and then go from there. If this video was good at explaining that, do me a favor, share it, get it out there, put it out on whatever fan site you're on, MMO Champion, the World of Warcraft subreddit, the official forums themselves, share it on Twitter, get people to look at and understand what's going on with Bone Shield right now. And as always, hey, hit me with a like, hit me with a subscribe. Those both help the channel a lot. And of course, leave feedback in the comment section if you have anything more to add to this discussion. Other than that, thank you for watching.